Just don't tell the bank
That's
that.
on paper, or that's on film.
I know. Okay, resolution to re-levy the water and sewer amounts on the tax roll. I don't have that in front of me, but I believe what's going on,
Right in the top part of there, that's what's currently outstanding for our water and sewer. They have until May 15th to pay, and then what isn't paid is re-levied on the tax roll to be collected. It automatically becomes the taxes.
as opposed to just simply cutting somebody off.
Right. This
That's-
is for last year. It's for
Okay.
the first quarter through the fourth quarter. And they have through May 15th.
Is this something we typically do every year?
Yes.
Okay. So somebody that doesn't pay, it gets rolled over and then it's automatically paid out of their taxes then?
Yes.
Okay. So we do get paid for the water, but it doesn't, it may take longer to get it. Okay. What about those letters that were going out asking people to
That's
pay
for the first quarter.
of this calendar year? Okay. Because there was discussion with Debbie about whether or not we're actually going to cut people off?
That's something we've been dealing with Leo.
Okay.
We've been talking about that.
And has a decision been made yet on?
No.
Okay.
Have we also intended to put a penalty on them monthly? Is that our
We haven't really done
discussion?
that because that was all part of the water regulations that LaBerge was working on,
Okay.
that we're writing into that, and I don't know where we
And
So that hasn't occurred yet, correct?
No.
Right.
And we did talk about that when I met with LaBerge, but they never actually gave me any documentation on what they were doing, so. But what I was just talking about with Diane is there's a number of people in the village that are behind in their water bills. Most people it's 1 month, 2 months, no big deal, but some people are behind an extraordinary amount of time. And there's discussions on whether the village is actually going to cut them off if they don't pay their bill. And if that does happen, it's going to take 24 hours to have their water put back on again. We don't know if we're going to do that yet, but people should be aware that the village, unfortunately, like everybody else, is in financial straits. And we may have to actually do this at some point, so we're trying to give fair warning. Any questions, discussion?
Are they gonna have to pay the whole back bill?
Yes. Mr. Clay?
Yeah, I have a question while we're talking on that, and it's actually a good one, and I've talked to the clerk. I think it was over the winter, and I think it was in '07, that someone was able to change our name from Something's Brewing and put themselves on our water system without us knowing. And then it became a thing, we weren't getting the bills, these other people were getting the bills, and as far as I know, this person has still not paid the bill. We were compensated but not shown. We know who the person was, but we don't know exactly how long they were on here, on our water bill. So when we had to pay it, I think it was like a little under $300 by the time it got straightened out. And then we had to pay another $15 to get our names back onto the...
Okay, Clay, this is very sympathetic, but it's a really
Yeah.
private issue, so I can,
Right.
I'll talk with you, and I'll talk with you and Diane
Well, what
afterwards.
I'm asking here, and I think it's a good eye-opener for everybody else, and seeing that I'm a taxpayer, I think I can ask the question, is why was someone else allowed to sign themselves on our water bill? And I think other people would like to know that same question, and can it get straightened out? And that's the council's job, I think.
Yep. I don't know why it happened,
Thank you.
with the
Well, no,
previous.
but I mean, I'm just putting it up there
Uh-huh.
as to, it did happen, why did it happen, and it needs to get straightened out. And these are the things that we elected the new officials.
I'll have an answer for you at the next meeting, is that
Thank
okay?
you.
Clay, is that all right? That I'll have an
No, that's
answer for you
fine,
at the next meeting?
Yeah.
Okay. Resolution, no, I did that. We're gonna, there is one more final meeting, the end of the year meeting, end of the fiscal year meeting, which we've set for Friday, May 30th at 7 p.m., which is going to be just after the Memorial Day Parade. We figured since most of us are gonna be here downtown anyhow, we might as well come in. And from what Diane tells me, basically, we just have to come in and sign a couple of the last minute bills that have to be paid at the end of this fiscal year. So I don't imagine we're gonna be here for more than probably 15, 20 minutes or something like that. Diane, do the department heads have to be here for that?
I don't think they usually come.
That was a question.
Yeah, I didn't think so, so, okay. And then also, the board has to audit the justice dockets over the next month. And from what I understand, this means is the paperwork that the judge uses during the course of the year has to be open for inspection. And nobody ever really looks at it, but it's there for people to come in and look and comment and question what's there. And they'll be there in the clerk's office, Diane?
Right, for you as the board, you
Well,
know.
we
No,
as,
it's just for the board to
Just
look
for the
at, not the
board.
public.
but we as the board have to review that by state law.
Yes.
Okay.
Diane, correct me if I'm wrong, but that came into effect, I think, last year.
No, it's been recorded,
Yeah,
yeah,
been around for a long
long
time.
time.
And when will it be available?
As soon as I ask Roxy, and then she usually leaves it. She'll be in tomorrow, and I'll ask her.
And then we'll hire some talk about when the one's available.
Okay.
Oh, I missed something on the old business that came in late, which is a request finally in writing from Lifts for $500. Did everybody get a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay. Traditionally, the village has always given Lifts about $500, but we've always requested something in writing from them stating pretty much what they want to do with the money. They've asked us earlier in the year, a month or two ago, but they never put it in writing. So now we have it in writing in front of us. And the money that they're asking for, the $500, is they're going to offer a cooking class titled Kids Kitchen 1. This class has been offered successfully for many years. The cost of the instructor is $350, and the supplies are approximately $150, which include food for cooking and craft supplies. They're teaching the fundamentals of eating a balanced diet. Do I hear a motion to approve this?
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I
To
move that we
approve.
approve the lifts.
Okay. Everybody approves?
I second.
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Park permits. We have a permit application for a wedding at Mallory Park, which is always a great thing to have. It'll be on July 12th, and they're going to be there for approximately 1 hour, and they promise to pick up. And it's from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., not in the middle of the night. Now we have to have a resolution to accept this? Okay. Any questions, any discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make that motion to accept the permit for the,
Wedding of Francis Wren.
I'll second it.
Do I hear a vote?
Aye.
Perfect. And the last one is the peddler's license for Frank Russell, who runs the hot dog stand. He wants to extend his summer hours from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m.
the first thing I say on that, having read all the permits, is he does this on a monthly basis, correct, Diane?
Right,
So
and he's been extending it each month.
his request for the winter is irrelevant right now.
Mhm.
But to extend it during the summer, from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. I just want to clarify that everybody knew that that was on a month-to-month basis.
Okay. My suggestion is that we leave it the way it is until we have a chance to review the peddler's permit process for the village itself. Because there are a lot of hard feelings about him being there.
Yeah.
Because he is generating income for himself and not paying taxes and potentially taking money away from restaurants in the
And that
village.
is one of the things that I have
So,
issues with it, having read the permits.
Well, he's not paying rent.
Mhm.
You know, if you go to Wayland's, he'd be paying Wayland's a
Yeah.
fee to sit on that property.
Mhm.
And so, you know,
And he did move down to the Kmart for about 2 days, then he came back again.
well, that's because he didn't pay his permit.
Ah,
So he had to
that's
move
what it
out
is.
of town.
Out of the village.
out of the village.
So anyhow, it's my recommendation that we just leave it the way it is until Tim comes back next month.
Next
and
month, we will have a plan.
then we can discuss that and decide how to go forward.
Will you have a plan by the 30th of May? When you're here for the year-end
Yes.
meeting?
Yes.
Because then you
Yes.
could vote on it.
And what I plan to do is I want to, I can talk later to Diane about this, but just to have something drafted out electronically that can be sent around to be reviewed.
Okay. Because, I mean, the 1st of June is then 2 days later, so.
And if either one of the three of you wish to sit down the next few days, I'm around tomorrow and the next day, and you want to review what we have, we can go over that, and then I can also give Dort a bit of I should say.
Any comments from the public about the peddler's permit? Mr. Clay?
I don't think most people would really care where Frank was, except for the simple fact of, you know, the turmoil over the IGA. And he's been there for almost a year, and basically, which is village property, and the taxpayers are paying for that property whether they like it or not. And Frank's getting a free ride on sitting on the property, and I know other business owners are not happy. And the tax issue, you know, I mean, that's here or there, but I think most of it is, I think Frank actually needs to, you know, go someplace else. And I don't think anybody really cares if he's there or not, but it's time for, you know, Frank to move.
No, Clay, I certainly understand and agree, and I'm sure that's why the
Yeah.
previous board asked Tim to look into the whole issue of.
And we can't do anything about the past, we can only do something about the future, so.
Yeah.
The past is definitely,
The past.
I understand, yeah. Thank you.
Is there a farmer's market in the IGA lot this year?
I haven't heard
Does
a word
anyone
about it.
know? Nothing?
They haven't been given a
Okay.
permit.
All right.
He applied, and I called him for the insurance information, and I haven't got anything back.
Okay.
I think they think they're.
I will say this, and looking over the permits, the permits for solicitation like that, what we have has been very vague, and what I've looked at and what I've seen and what I'm outlining is going to be very detailed to include a lot more information.
Good. I just have one more comment. Tim just sorry, Lori?
I was just interested in hearing what you said, that how Frank for the hot dog stand doesn't pay. He's got a free ride there, because he told me just the opposite. One day him and I were just standing there visiting, and I says, how's this, what's the arrangement with the village here? Oh, he says, I pay rent for you every month, he says, for being.
He pays his permit.
Yeah.
He said, I'm just saying what he told me.
Okay, we'll,
He says, I
we'll
pay
back
rent.
charge him rent then.
He said, I pay rent every month.
No, he's not.
So, that's why I was interested in hearing what you just said, that it's free ride for him.
Okay. Before I open it up to public comments, just one thing I want to add on to the mayor's report, which is in writing, I forgot to talk about. Tim reminded me when he mentioned the word vague. One of the things that I recently did was on my own personal campaign website, davidduna.com. I listed all of my clients, both past and present. I do a lot of work as a web developer with local businesses, and I think it's really important that I list who my clients are. So if there are any questions about somebody coming forward attempting to do village business, that I'm also doing personal business with, it gives the public an opportunity to question why I'm doing that. So that's out there, and I spoke to a lawyer at the New York Conference of Mayors, and he said, yes, that's really a good thing to do, but he said that the ethics law for the state is extremely vague to the point where it's completely meaningless, and that's why I remembered it. Okay, any other comments from the...
If I can
Oh,
make,
sure.
I want to make one comment. I'm sitting in here as two elderly gentlemen. I say that with, but the point being that I know that these two gentlemen just raised quite a bit of money for the crop walk, and what I would like is, Lori, if you would explain that, please, how we did this year.
I did want to comment, because you asked me to come and maybe make just a brief statement. Last year, we raised a little over $12,000 for the crop walk, and that was a high as of then. But this year, thanks to the public, which was very, very generous, I gotta say that, we raised $15,000. And so I think that's last year we got just a little over $3,000 for the food pantry down in the town, or right here in the town building. This year, I think Margaret Roberson, the treasurer, said they will receive a check for about $3,700, which is a nice shot in the arm, because it's certainly gonna be needed this year.
Yep.
More than ever. And I just want to take this out, I've been wondering how we could do this, and I think right here at this meeting is probably the best way. I just want to thank the people from the Greenwich area and outlying districts around the villages, not for being as generous as they were to this crop walk program. It was very much appreciated.
And tell them how much you raised this year, everybody wants to know that.
Well, that really is important. how
Well,
much I
it is.
raised.
It is important.
I raised a good amount, but I did it with a good feeling of being able to do it. And that's enough said on that.
Okay. Any other comments from the public on anything? Questions from the, oh,
I still want to bring up our situation with the tractor trailer truck going up Church Street. And last week, we had a big tractor trailer truck. He missed a turn, went up there, and he turned right around, right up near the ditch. I don't know how he ever did it. Then he turned around, came back, and tried to turn left to go up to Salem Street, and he couldn't do it. He had traffic, this is in the morning again, traffic all tied up. He finally got back around, went down on Main Street somewhere, and turned around and came back up 29. So we definitely do need a sign up there for truck stops.
well, Kathy spoke to the state DOT, and they're gonna be coming out the next couple of months
Yeah.
to do a survey of what needs to be done,
Yeah.
including possible advance left
Yeah, good.
at the traffic light.
Did he overshoot the right?
Well, he didn't see the sign. See, the new drivers know where 29 is.
Yeah.
But he was a new driver, and so he didn't see it, and he went right up towards Dick, right up towards Church Street.
Oh, okay, all right, so yeah, so he didn't take.
No, he didn't see it, he didn't see it all, and the old drivers know where it is. But the sign is so small, they don't see it. If they had a sign maybe down on Main Street, truck stop, truck route, then they'd know it.
Yeah,
But this trailer, how he ever turned it around, I don't know. He jacked that thing right around.
there were two last week that went all the way down to the bridge, and it's like, you know, I'm standing there going,
Yeah.
no, stop now,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah,
You know?
well,
See, I've tried to address that 100 times over, the signage,
There's no sign.
but even coming in from the Cambridge side of things, you have this nice flashing sign
Yeah.
inside the village, but the trucks are already committed, there's no
It's too
place for
late.
them to
No,
There's
go.
nowhere for them to go,
And I
correct.
still say they put out a couple of now faded orange flags on a sign out by the Easton Station to Firehouse, which is worthless. They need to do something, either back over in Cambridge to correct it on that side,
Yeah.
and something further outside to address the problem here in the
George, if they're
village.
coming down that road, they're already in trouble.
Well, they shouldn't be out of COILA. I mean,
Yeah.
there should be some.
They've gotta
warning
connect
that
someplace,
they're, you
some
know.
early warning signs,
Yeah.
and put them in French, because most of our truck drivers lately are in French and don't speak English. and they
it's right now.
Oui.
Yeah, and then, but they need to, I think DOT really needs to address
Yeah, yeah.
this whole situation, because it's a problem. We had a truck clobber the bridge here in the village again today, and it's a local company, and the driver just, I don't know, forgot about the bridge being there or something like that.
The biggest thing that I noticed that's happening, and I've seen it in a couple of articles I've read also now, is 90% of the signs say the height on everything from now on. And instead, do a truck traffic route, which all trucks with an arrow. So in other words, the Salem Street intersection with Washington Square needs one of the new signs that they have, which if we hook up the village power to it, it'll have an alternating flashing yellow light with an arrow that flashes all trucks. It's over and done with. The police department has the authority to write traffic tickets off from that, then the signage is there. With just a street sign sitting there that says Route 29, there's nothing there. You know, so that's what can help us in the village here. One of the things we have to pay for is take it off of our street lights, but put power there. The state will put up the sign as is. I will promise you they will get you the sign
It's
there.
well worth it.
372, like the chief said, that's been a nightmare since I've been a cowboy, you know, and it's, I don't know if we do that, that's tough.
You were a cowboy?
One time, it's Red Bull.
Tony?
I got a delivery from a rather large truck today out in Salem, and he asked me for it way back to '87. And he said his problem is the GPS in these trucks
Mhm.
does not account for that bridge. It said, the GPS shows me to go to Cambridge and over 372.
Well,
You won't
If
get
you read your
under that.
GPS, it does tell you that, because you got different settings on it. It says truck, car, tractor,
Right.
trailer, and you reset them, because this is emergency mode, and that's the problem, they can't read their GPS.
Okay.
Then you'd be squared away, but yes, if they change their GPS, it'll tell them that. All train trestles, bridges, everything.
I just wanna bring one more thing up in reference to what Lori was talking about. I'd like to propose, I don't know how we can do this, but when Lori and I were talking one day about grants for food banks, I don't know if we can do anything, I don't know where to go with that, but I just wanna bring it up. Cause we were talking about how if we could get grants to get money for the local food banks as the village.
I could talk to Mary Ann Brown about that and have her do a little bit of research. Okay, that's probably the best bet.
I know I had mentioned it to
Yeah, you
Lori,
did.
I also was talking with George about it.
Yeah.
And
And
they were gonna try to check with some people, and what I wanna do is pose it back to you.
in answer to your question, Tim, I found out there's 3 or 4 different people that act as a kind of a committee. There's no actual chairman of the food pantry, no actual one person head, as I was told. And they said there's 3 or 4 different people that work with it. I could give you their names. I think I told a couple of them. Marlene McLean is
But
one.
if you could do me that favor, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, I did look into that.
One of the things is obviously don't, everybody, things are gonna get harder for people in this area.
Any other questions? Oh,
Yes, sir. I just got a question in regards to go back to the firehouse. I thought it was listed down further. I guess my question would be is I thought the 2 individuals that were here last month were gonna return in regards to whether or not they felt that they could work with the fire department still in the same area as the IGA along with their property. Have we heard anything further on that?
not really.
Okay.
No.
Um,
And they're both still interested, but they would like an answer sooner rather than later. And I had spoken to Cecil Provost from Pro Realty representing the buyer who wishes not to be identified, and told him, I gave him the plans that you gave me, and I said, obviously, I know these aren't, they're very small, it's hard to look at them. I said, if you really are interested, let me know, and I can put you in touch with George Casey and the building committee, and also you. And then at that point, I know that you guys would be willing to sit down and go over plans with him.
Yeah, because I think that, I think this is a great idea that we need to get an idea of what the IGA lot is worth, but at the same time, if we're not gonna be able to work this out with any of these individuals, then we need to start looking elsewhere, and I don't wanna wait till the last minute, because we're losing ground here quick. Because one of the things that I've left out of our reports at this point, based on I think we're gonna have movement going in a direction, is that if not, I've gotta start allocating money for doors and heater. Which I brought up for the last 2 years. Heater station 2 is shot, it's no good. Doors, and it's stuff that we're drawing out as long as possible, because it's crazy for us to drop $15,000 into the shell of that building over there to keep it going for 2 years when we're gonna have a firehouse then. But if we're looking 10 years out, we've gotta put money someplace. So I guess what I'm getting to is that, my point is we need to start figuring out where we're heading in this direction, to where is this feasible for these people that are twine this property with us, and if not, then if we're gonna dump it, then we need to see where else we're going with the fire department type deal, that's all.
Well, I'm really hoping to get this appraisal back within a month.
Okay.
And then at that point, we can determine whether either one of these options, the bids they put in,
Okay.
are legitimate bids for what the property's worth.
Okay.
And then the next question would be, how long would it take? I mean, you're talking about the heaters, and I understand that intimately, because we've had that discussion, I've looked at it. But we could look at the fall for that, so it's not a big issue right now, but the fall, we could be prepared for that.
What we've been doing right now to get by with that is we have main care that's been coming in and dropping nozzles in it approximately once a week. And we cover up the brush truck, where it leaks on. That's what gets us by. And we'll do that if we can get by, if we're continuing to move forward with the firehouse. If not, let's get it fixed, because it's a nightmare for us to work with that.
No,
And
I
it's it's not cost effective for us to continue that way.
No,
so.
I understand it.
So-
It's fully my intention, is what we want to do. What I want to do is address 184 and the fire department as quickly as possible, but until we get an accurate, independent assessment of what the property's worth, I don't feel it would be in the best interest of the taxpayers to go forward with either one.
No, very good.
We really need to make a good, honest decision.
Certainly. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. Thank you.
I hope you are.
Yes, thank you.
Any questions or comments from the public on anything else? Clay?
Yeah, I have one, and I think you're both familiar with it, you and the chief. Last Friday, I came up the street to find a dumpster plugged down on part of the sidewalk and half in front of our shop. And I gotta tell you guys, I am very unhappy. Now, the village end on Main Street on our end, talking to other business owners, under the old administration was basically left to fend for itself. And we generate a lot of money for the village in that little section right there. And the people down there get nothing. We don't have crosswalks, we don't have garbage cans, we don't seem to have any law enforcement down there. And I have a dumpster that's halfway in front of my shop. Now, I've been told by the clerk, by the chief, they can't block the sidewalk. And what are they doing? Blocking the sidewalk. Who's gonna take the liability on that? I've got pictures in my phone today of kids coming and going to school, darting around, looking and running out into the street. Now, what do you think their parents are gonna say if I put these photos up?
Where is this
And
dumpster?
I never got an answer back
On Main Street,
on the issue.
next to a coffee shop.
It's right in front of the coffee shop.
You know, there's 3 doorways. There's the knitting shop and the coffee shops on the right, the empty, where Coastal Express was. They're doing work on the 2nd floor there, so they set up this contraption with a dumpster in the street, and it's cordoned off with the chute coming out the 2nd floor.
Yeah, there's a couple of issues, and I don't know if our village attorney can answer it or not, but one, he's got the sidewalk blocked, which is a problem, you can't do that, but I guess the next problem is that whatever that chute is, I think is a real liability. I'm not sure what's,
Wood.
it's some sort of whatever, construction nightmare.
Where is
It's-
It's right in front of, half in front of Something's Brewing and half in front of the empty storefront next to it.
Oh.
And it's coming right off the 2nd floor, 3rd floor, whatever, and it's a
That's an
chute
ocean-
going
that's an
down to the
ocean.
street into the dumpster. And
Okay.
they've got the street, the sidewalk, which is a problem, and I think the chute itself, and I'm not sure whose problem it is, the chute. Whether it's a code enforcement,
I would think it's.
county code enforcement, village, I don't know.
Doesn't somebody need a permit to block the?
Well,
They do, I would say.
I'm
thinking just
ocean. That I can't see, I don't see it, there should be a building permit, you know, if not from the, I would say at least from the county, somewhere exposed on the front of that building, which I've seen neither of either. So I don't know, you know, and this crew that's up there, and I'm not jumping on them because they're not local, but I mean, it's a pretty shaky outfit, and there's already been some, they had a van, and the chief knows this also, last week when they rolled in, that was broken down for 6 days in front of our shop, and that's why I'm angry about the dumpster, because in the place of the van now was a dumpster that was broken down for 6 days with a pan under the rear axle that nobody gave a thought except for us because we looked at it. I made a comment to the guy good-naturedly, and he got, you know, he didn't like what I said to him, and so I called the police department. First thing they asked me was, on the dispatch, would you like us to tow? And I said, no. I said, because they're construction guys working upstairs, I would like to see if we can give them some incentive to get the van out of there. And they gave them, the chief, I believe, to Sunday, and they didn't move it until Tuesday. I also asked for the super, whom I don't even know who the company is, to call when I went up and talked to him about the dumpster. And I never even got a courtesy call back on this. So, I mean, I think we really need to find out from the Ballards, and this also comes to the Ballards, because it's their building that's being worked on. The tenants in the building have not even been informed of what's going on and what kind of work is being done. So I think we need to create, you know, something so that we, as business owners down there, have some heads up on, you know, what activities are coming up. I mean, if like this case here, this is a bad, these guys are basically just doing what they want to do. And with a dumpster, and I talked to him about it, and he said, oh, the dumpster has to be here. And I said, why can't it be in front of the empty storefront? And then, like I said, I talked to the chief and the clerk, both saying they can't block the sidewalk. They've been blocking it since Friday. You got kids that are 7 in the morning, and if you guys want to be there tomorrow morning, I can guarantee you, you'll see these young kids now. I'm talking about 7, 8-year-old kids darting, looking, and beating traffic. And my other thing, and I'm going to enlighten you on too, and the chief, and I think he already knows it, the speeding on the other side of the lights, down where we are, the traffic, you have a 30-mile-an-hour zone down there. It's 40, 45, or whatever people figure that they want to make it. It's not being enforced down there except Friday and Saturday nights when the police are looking for drunk drivers. We don't need the police up in the IGA parking lot on the other end of the village. They need to be in the village so that people know that they're there. You got people coming down through there at 40 and 45, and I know everybody else here has seen them, you know, 45, 50 miles an hour. And I'm out on that street. Everybody knows I'm out there. You see me all day long. I've been hit, almost hit umpteen times going across that street. And we have, it seems, no incentive to figure out how to stop these speeders. And my suggestion is that we need to set up a couple of speed traps, morning, afternoon, or something with the sheriff's department to catch these people. And I'll tell you, the village will rake in some revenue on that one because, and I'll tell you, the biggest offenders, women. Every time every time I look up, it's a woman.
It doesn't matter.
You make your point.
Okay.
Okay. Tim, you're the longest board member. What?
Thanks.
What is there within the village law that we could use to deal with this dumpster?
First of all, we call county code. That's the big one.
Yeah, I think the county code enforcement's gotta come in and take a look at it. The dumpster issue, I know we've been a little bit, they can,
I'll be there at 7:30 in the morning.
blocking the sidewalk, and I question that chute coming out of the.
And I'll look at it and I will talk to them, and then I'll turn around and call the county if need be tomorrow morning.
Okay.
I will be there tomorrow.
Because I know I've seen plenty of chutes in New York City that are coming basically straight down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
There's
there's
two things-
also scaffolding
There's
requirements.
two things that go through my
protection,
mind.
There's a lot of things
There's
that,
two things that go through my mind immediately. One is county code and one is OSHA. Because all you need is one situation to happen and OSHA could tear somebody up.
Yeah, there you go.
And that is not being enforced.
Let me explain what happens with that too. A lot of times when you see that stuff like you're just talking about with the cities, what happens is they'll have their crosswalk people prior to and afterwards where they kick them across the crosswalk, they walk up the other side of the street, and then they can cross again. Then, therefore, they can drop a dumpster wherever it might be with a permit on a sidewalk, wherever it might be with a chute, and they fence the area off, so now nobody walks to or from in that area. The problem here is there's people that can walk under this chute throughout the day, whether the tape's there or not, I don't care, it's not gonna stop a 12-year-old from cruising through there.
Right.
All day long, and something's gonna fall, and the village is gonna be liable for that, so it's gonna happen, because it's village sidewalk. I think you're right on the money, and county code enforcement needs to come down, it can solve two problems there. One of them, if it needs to go to a PESH issue or an OSHA standard, can happen. The other thing, if it's based on the fact that they do not have the proper permits to do any work on that, we can start worrying about fire issues in regards to the place, because who knows what they're doing up there as far as wiring
And
and
the,
stuff.
and the third thing I think of, Chief, is what are they pulling out of there?
No, exactly, and we don't know if there's asbestos in this building, what's going on, before you know it can be a bigger mess. So, to cover us, county code can come down here and deal with that. I don't know if the chief, if you're gonna be over here or whatever, I mean, I'm around in the morning too, but if trustee Taylor needs to get a hold of either one of us, by all means, we could show up there. and we can deal with it.
Are you available tomorrow?
I am in the morning. Chief, are you around too?
I'll go down there and meet you there.
Do you need extra coffee? I don't wanna go to Stewart's.
Now, I'll be the first one to tell you though, without the police chief, I have nothing to do with the dumpster parked in the street by any means. As far as the shoot and as far as what they're doing upstairs, I have no problem working with code enforcement and the trustees to deal with that. With the dumpster in the street, that's a police issue, nothing to do with me.
But this is what we need to start doing though, is
Yep.
these guys are being paid to do a job by the taxpayers, and they need to let them do it.
And one thing though I would ask though, and this is just to everybody in the future, because you're not the first one that's coming to meetings with this information type deal, is if somebody sees something like this, because granted, I go through the village a lot during the day because I work nights, but if somebody can just flag me down, or the police chief down and say, look, here's what's going on, can you take a look at it? It's gonna be easier, because that way we can predict the problem, or catch the problem before we end up having an issue with it a month later when we report it at a village board meeting. I guess that's, if this is such a safety hazard, which it sounds to me like it is, and from what I saw briefly today it is, then we should have been on this the first day it was put up,
Exactly.
not a week later. That's just my
I
opinion.
mean, these guys have been like modifying this thing for 3 or 4 days, and they did start using it today.
Okay.
But the big point is that you can look at something that's illegal, going by it every single day and not think it's a violation. And if somebody doesn't bring it up, then it doesn't become an issue.
Oh, yeah, it just gets ignored. I mean, it's in, and the reason I'm here is, and anybody else would have been, but they're not, it's half in front of my fiance's business. And,
Oh, congratulations.
well, thank you.
By the way, you're on video now.
Okay, are there any other comments or questions from the public on any other issues? Do I hear a motion to close this meeting?
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Do I hear a vote?
Aye.
Meeting's closed. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Clay, thanks for bringing it on.
Hey, Clay, just have the coffee ready in the morning.
What's that?
Have the coffee ready in the morning, I'll be there.
I'll be there, just cover the coffee.
How are you, sir?
Will you be there?
Chief, are you going to come?
If it is, that's the first question. The second question is there,
We dropped it down on Main Street, you know, it's not like it's a long term.
say,
The
oh,
issue is just the way it got.
So the dumpster's okay, so you're gonna be around by next time we see the Green King.
what if we send somebody, you know,
Well, the county
dig a
has
hole out there?
He doesn't want to move the stuff from taking out.
Kath, it takes time, you know.
All right.
On many levels,
It's frustrating.
across the board.
You,
That's, you know, so
No, actually, I wasn't gonna wear shorts because it was chilly, but then I decided to throw them on because they were quick to get
about
outside.
10 years from now, you're gonna have legs like George.
Sir. Alright, I'll see you in the morning, thanks.
7
I'm
o'clock?
curious though,
I'll see you at 7.
is there a rule in the village that they can't do that? Put the dumpster on the sidewalk?
We've always allowed it.
Is there a general rule that says you can't do something unsafe like they're doing? They don't have.
Second of all, they have.
Yeah, it's not posted. See, I think this is just some fly-by-night construction company that's
Right.
right.
But it's just curious, we can't have no
I've
teeth
had
on
people
for
that pass
perfect.
by.
I haven't talked to
You know,
him.
I told him you were gonna find it, trying to corner you, and I don't remember that.
He actually brought a dumpster and squatted on the side of the car, he can't block himself, put it out in the street.
I do have a cell phone.
Be short. It's a parking spot and a half, maybe we should take it out, but
Okay.
you gotta get the business
Because
owner.
I know we always give them money, you know, so
Yeah, you can always just let
The problem is, this guy, now he's got the sidewalk in this whatever, the heck is coming around. I just think that's where the safety issue.
That's a cell phone. I don't have that all the time. That'll work for something bad. Something happens there, let me know.
So that's your.
I think he's either gonna cooperate with us, take that contraption down, plug it up, put it over, do. I think the problem is, it's probably trying to bring it down downstairs and come across, I don't know, but he's gotta come up with something.
Yeah, it's gotta stop.
No.
That's why we have police.
Yeah.
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 That's right.
That's
Did I tell you I got a missing kid in the village too? Did I tell you that?
No.
I'm meeting with somebody from Betty Little's office this week, and one of the things I'm going to bring up is the issue of the cost of the training for police officers.
Yeah.
She's really on board. We met with her, Dee and I, and my assistant chief back in the fall. She did a presentation out at Trinkle's Farm in Buster, and I sat with her. Talked in great detail. And the problem is, again, someday, and I'll explain to you the whole situation, why I feel that we're kind of getting short-staffed up here. So before you go to that, when is your meeting?
So,
Yeah, but
But I'm not sure if it's secure or not.
probably one of the
There's something walks under,
Do you have time either tomorrow or Wednesday? To sit, take me
Sure.
15 minutes to explain where I feel we
By
ought
the
to
way,
go.
Billings,
Okay, what time
since
is
that
it?
the Billings.
Okay, well, we're here by 9:30 in the morning, so
Tomorrow morning.
It's not tomorrow.
that's,
And I also spotted two.
Wednesday morning, yeah, that's fine. I got your payroll, so we're
Okay,
going
that sounds good.
He's, yeah, he's gonna talk to Rosanna.
Why?
Well, he's gonna talk to the people at the state, so we can understand right by the
You know, you bring up that gravel.
How do I stop this?
Stop it.
Okay.
Well, it's definitely running.
This is, I haven't got billed yet on my copy.
Okay.
So-
See, the